Hello there, welcome back to the life of Genghis Khan Abridged. Last time we tied up a couple of loose ends, destroying the Jajoran Mongols and vassalizing the Tartars. Then we were gradually cracking open China, just need to kill them all to get our score up. It was taking a while, and things got a little bit harder when we also encountered the Song Chinese on top of the Jin and ended up at war with them as well. However, the Song ended up being our vassal after a quick war, and so did the Xi, so actually most of China is now under our control. Something really cheeky happened just after this. I'm sitting around trying to take Taiwan, and suddenly this battle takes place back up in our territory. It's the thing that I warned about much earlier in the series. The fact that I'm not really looking at my own territory means the enemy could send an army to go and start taking it without me noticing, and they actually did it. I didn't think they would, but they sent some men up the edge of the map and are now attacking my undefended settlements at the back. Obviously they're not going to be undefended for long, we can just spam out a stack and take them down, so it's not actually going to be that effective, but it was incredibly cheeky and interesting that it actually happened after me being worried about it. Anyway, we're back down south now, where our armies who are left over from our short war with the Song are just taking out random Jin troops around the place, but more important is our attempt to take Taiwan, which is really stalling because our catapults can't break down their walls. So we're doing it super slow style, trying to burn down the gatehouses and attacking 4 units at a time. There are absolutely loads of guys inside, and we're taking tons of casualties to the enemy's towers. Overall, it's a bit of a mess, but then again there's not much else to do. It would take too long to get more troops and stuff, so we're just going to keep trying over and over again with that one basically. And at the same time, very far away, we are actually in position to go after our current mission objective, that being to take control of the Silk Road, which apparently involves taking this big city right here. We've got men ready to go and they're setting off, but we won't be able to attack this turn. We'll just get into position to do it. It is defended by troops, but we've got like double their numbers, and it's only a wooden wall, so we should get it eventually. At Taiwan, I noticed it now has 2 skulls over the name. One skull is because they might surrender due to being terrified. I think the other one might be because they're out of food or something. We've had them under siege for so long. They can now also surrender because of that. And there are our men going back after our settlement back in our empire. Now over at the mission objective, to speed things up, I'm going to utilize the fact that Alma-Ata here has the ability to recruit the trash catapults, and trash catapults will be enough to attack wooden walls and break them open quickly. So we'll throw those guys into the mix to speed that up. Could do it without them, but might as well utilize the resources we have since we have the money. Here's a little gripe. You saw me there turning on automated farming. It was supposed to already be on. One of the things I encountered last time playing this is that automated farming can turn itself off, which for farming civilizations is devastating, and it continues to be a problem. I think it might turn itself off between saves, but in my experience it doesn't always do that, so in reality I don't really know what the cause is. There's a sneaky move from the Jin Chinese. Their faction leader is trying to take back Da Ding over there, but he's not going to get in since it's got stone walls and I can just spam some peasants inside, so that'll all be fine. Now we encounter another glitch, the battle thing that we've seen before. All the battles just kind of freeze and the graphics don't work. What essentially happens with this is if you wait long enough, the battles do happen, but just very quickly for the last little bit of the available time limit for battles. So you'll see it happening here, my guys suddenly go in to attack the Silk Road place. It also noted there that a settlement has surrendered, and that is Taiwan. They can surrender in the middle of a siege, it turns out. I guess that's only surrendering due to food running out, the terror thing. I think either it works the moment you get to the walls, or it doesn't work at all. You can't keep attacking the wall to try and force them to surrender through terror. At least that's how it appears to be. The Karakitans try to get peace, but they won't be my vassals, so we have to let them down there. However, here's some interesting news. We've completed the game. How about that? You might remember from last time, we were on the verge of the Conquest victory condition, so taking Taiwan pushed us over the edge. And now it tells us that the greatest joy is to defeat your enemy, to drive him before you, to take everything he possesses, to see his cities reduced to ash, and to hear the lamentations of his women. So that's good, isn't it? And we were doing that for the most part, except when we vassalized most of the world. I guess we didn't reduce them to ash quite as much as advertised. but, you know, I think it's nicer to have vassals. We were being a very nice Genghis Khan in this roleplay. So there we go, we've 100% completed the victory condition. We have 2/3 of the world's population under our control, or the game world I should say. It felt a bit strange though, because it's kind of like a nothing happened ending. The situation is still ongoing, we're still at war with the Jin, and we still haven't done that Silk Road mission, so I thought, well, might as well keep going. Let's kill some more Jin to see if anything happens, and try and actually complete that Silk Road mission just to see if anything comes of that. Plus, we're only 5 minutes into the video, so better try and do something else, right? Here we are then, lined up outside that Silk Road place, ready to take it down. Our catapults can set all the towers on fire and open breaches in the walls for us. And soon enough the place is taken. The garrison was already half dead from our assaults before the catapults arriving, so no problems there really. The question is, what does this do? I was looking around my notifications, trying to find out if I'd become filthy rich, which was what was promised by taking the Silk Road. I think what this actually does is it just gives you control of that little green thing with the arrows on it on the left, which gives you 100 extra gold per turn or something. It was something very irrelevant and overall a massive disappointment, considering I spent about half of the entire game moving the armies over here to do this. Probably could have just done something much more productive with them, and obviously I've spent thousands upon thousands upkeeping these armies in the process, so overall not a very good investment. Now back at Darding, the Jin Chinese actually did try and make an attack here, but I just sent out horse archers to break their siege of the city. That went all good, and here is their faction leader with just one bodyguard. We can give him a bit of a T-pose to see if that intimidates him. His bodyguard runs away, but the faction leader is made of sterner stuff and then dies. However, as you may know in this game, the leader model's dying doesn't kill the character in the game's logic. So here we are in the next turn when the battle was still going on, and the faction leader's out there again. This time he dies for real though. If everyone in a character's unit dies, the character definitely dies, and they can die just randomly as well. There seems to be some probability of it deciding they died. Now, something happened. I'm guessing this is a result of us capturing that Silk Road place. We sent a caravan to the west, and the Khwarezm, a faction that we don't know about, has taken them hostage or something. They've been impounded somewhere on the Silk Road. I've got scouts going west to look for other factions, so we'll see if we ever encounter them. I've also captured Narin here. This is another Kera Khitan place. Don't have the authority to keep it, so it's got to go, of course. Next, we're back at Yan'an. This is the place where I mentioned previously in a previous part that I'd had men just standing outside this city's walls for ages, but I never attacked because we didn't have enough men to take it. But after ages I've reinforced the place and I'm going for it, in particular going for the old kind of siege draw out glitch thing where the enemy army is mostly inside the city, so it can't participate in a battle if the battle takes place outside. Therefore we kill most of the enemy troops who are actually standing outside the wall at the moment for some reason, taking huge losses ourselves in the process, but we don't care about losses at this point in the campaign. As for Genghis, he's taken a portion of our main force from Taiwan to attack Pingyang just to the southwest. At Taiwan, we've actually got a public order problem for the first time in this campaign. Overall, our people have been very happy to be conquered by us or to actually be Mongolian and live in our empire up top. But now we have to deal with the peasants being uppity. I should have killed them earlier. You have this issue where public order goes down due to food shortages, which are caused by me of course, but it also goes down if you build farms, so you get stuck in this situation where you actually can't improve the situation without forcing a rebellion. Right now though, I could use an edict there to allow free worship, which increases peasant happiness and gives me some culture. That's that stat in the very bottom left, the 28 stat. Something to do with how much money you make through trade, but not really sure how it actually factors in. Anyway, back at Yan'an, we're slaying more enemy troops outside the city and just generally waiting for reinforcements to go take the city down still. Here at Jingzhou, in the very southern part of the map, I've sent the troops who were hanging around the Song Chinese territory to go randomly take this place off them. Just a wooden wall, so just need to get started, get some breaches going, and we'll get it on the technicality eventually. Then, something else happens. The Khwarezm have apparently killed the envoys I sent to go and investigate this whole caravan impounding thing. And this gives us our next story objective, I presume. We need to destroy Khwarezm completely. The go to button shows me my own capital, and I guess that's because we don't know where the Khwarezm are. And as you can see, there's actually a huge area of the map they haven't discovered. We've only been playing in the right-hand side of the map. There's another left-hand side with other factions and stuff. They obviously don't have many people because we still control 2/3 of the map's population. But this means that finding our new objective is going to be quite difficult potentially. It could take a really long time to do. However, just for the sake of it, I thought, well, I will go and scout just to have a look and size up how doable this objective actually is. While that's going on, we've got some more Jin to kill. We successfully take Pinyang after ramming our heads against the walls for a very long time and taking them down. All those units will now start moving southwest towards Qingzhou, where the units already there have also captured the city. We're going to sack it so we can keep it and then use it as a base. I'm going to gather up all the stacks in this area and just consolidate our forces and just leave them standing around because that will restore their stamina before we go on to find more Jin and keep killing them just for fun. And after a while, our scouts off to the west do find what we're looking for, the first Khwarezm settlement. They are a bit different. They're some sort of Persian or Turkic influenced Central Asian empire, so they have different models and different kinds of units as well. Not that this matters an enormous amount. What we need to know right now is that their border settlement is walled and fully garrisoned, so we're not getting in there cheekily anytime soon. I was about to just go back and go, I can't be bothered, but then I thought, no, let's keep looking, let's see what we can do, because there could be some opportunities that arise from having our noble cav just hang around in their territory and see what's going on. In the meantime, we're still going after Yan'an, again just ramming our heads against the wall until we finally take it. And at Alma-Ata, the Kerakitans come back for some revenge by the looks of things. Didn't notice them arriving, but they walked right into my stacks that are just hanging around from after the conquest of that region, so they didn't make very much progress. And that reminded me, we can actually use these towns to put out more stacks, and quite a lot of stuff actually, because this big place, Balasagan, has tons of capacity for recruitment. So we can throw out like 2 more stacks on top of the 2 we already have, including some pretty decent units, like the Tumen Heavy Cavalry, which we've gradually unlocked using technology. They're all armoured and stuff, so they're very powerful. Look at that, now we have a stack that's somewhat near Khwarezm and actually gives us some hope of attacking them in a reasonable time frame. Our scouts hit the jackpot. We've discovered an unwalled, unguarded settlement. That's the sort of thing we want to see. So we'll just go through their territory, absolutely annihilating any settlements that aren't guarded. And there's not much the enemy can do. They could recruit units when they see me, but the AI tends not to do that. The main army is on the way, as we see there, so in a while we'll be able to make a more serious attack. And there we go, we just quickly destroy that random settlement, and now Khwarezm are probably feeling a little bit bad that they killed our envoys. We are going to kill all of them. Meanwhile, still more Jin to kill. I'm bypassing this Jin army near Qingzhou, and all of my now replenished stacks are just going to go for Qingyang there. This is the last Jin settlement in this part of the map. It's also the last one that I know of, other than Yan'an of course, which we're also still going for up here. And yeah, we've basically lost like 2 stacks of troops trying to take Yan'an, just constantly running up to the walls and getting shot by the towers. But you do have an unlimited supply of troops, they just regenerate over time, so you can keep just spamming units at the enemy until they eventually die, which they will because our economy is bigger. And actually Qingyang and Yan'an fell at the same time because they both finally surrendered. I think Qingyang was surrendering due to terror and Yan'an due to lack of food. So there we go, the Jin in this part of the map are now officially gone. At this stage while playing, I actually didn't know where the rest of their empire was. It's in the east and it was actually on the screen there for a second, but as the player, I'm not paying attention, so I didn't even know that. Instead, looks like I'm just checking out the scoreboards here. The only really remarkable thing is that Khwarezm are in 2nd place at the moment on victory points. Doesn't matter because we've already technically won, but to win even more, we should go and kill some of them. I'll try and remember to show the stats again right at the end and look at all the civilian casualties and things like that. For now, I'm going to send all the guys around Genghis to go after that Jin army that's just standing there. For want of anything else to do, I'll eventually discover the rest of Jin's territory. And over in Khwarezm territory, things have got off to a good start. One of our all-cav armies that went ahead of the rest of our stacks has instantly captured an enemy settlement because it surrendered, so now we can use that as a base. My scouts discover another enemy settlement that's lightly guarded rather than unguarded. I thought I'll just chance it, maybe we can take it if we rush in, and here we are on the next turn. We've got it, because I think it surrendered as well, we didn't have to fight. So that's great, 2 surrenders for our first attacks. That's a very good sign indeed. Now let's take a look at the poor Jin army getting absolutely mongoled from all sides. I think this army was just loads of peasant spears, and we're coming at them with 3 or 4 stacks, packed out with heavy cav and heavy horse archers. So we're starting to get properly like the horde of Genghis Khan now, just absolutely spamming so many horse archers that the enemy just can't do anything. Any direction they go in will just move away, and we come at them from another direction at the same time. Arrows raining everywhere, and they are just dying. You can see the fight hasn't even really started and we're just wiping out these units. And because they have low morale, once you kill a few they just leave and we win that battle easily. There's a more important battle going on at the same time. Our forces are starting to arrive in Khwarezm territory properly. There was a small stack, I think, of just peasant archers on the border, and they're going to get thoroughly mongoled as well. Obviously, we just absolutely annihilate them and move on towards Otrar. There's another full stack of troops standing just outside the settlement. You can see them there, so there is going to be a more serious battle to come before we go for the attack. Also, my scouts cheekily take another settlement somewhere in the enemy back lines. That time it was because there was only 1 unit defending, so by attacking with 2 we win on that technicality. Then, another story event I guess. The Shisha are betraying me because my armies are far away. I guess this probably happens when you start attacking the Khwarezm seriously. The game thinks, you probably sent everything over there, and then this betrayal happens to annoy you. But actually, most of my men are right here in amongst the Shisha territory, so the betrayal isn't the worst thing in the world. If anything, it's really annoying, because now we can't really move anywhere without running into random Shisha full stacks that are just all over the place. So I really wasn't happy about having to fight these guys, but when I hit end turn, fights break out all over the place, including with these guys up near the Shisha capital. I've got loads of forgotten units hanging around who end up getting attacked. There's a massive battle near Jingzhou, where there's tons of stacks, including Song army troops, who are all just brawling all over the place with no real rhyme or reason. Looks like the Khwarezm have caught some of my scouts near their capital and taken them down, that's a shame. And here is our main blob moving towards Otrar, and mainly now just going for the stack that was outside. And they're just going to be completely run over. I think it was just loads of light troops. So then we'll be ready for the siege next time. That poor forgotten army near the Shisha capital is getting pounded by multiple attacks. Luckily our guys are really heavy, so while the enemy totally outnumber us, they just get annihilated. Plus, really heavy troops, like the Tumen heavy cavalry archers, seem to be really powerful even when they're on 0 stamina. It doesn't seem to affect them that much. No idea how that mechanic actually works, but they're still trashing enemy units just fine. And one of the enemy settlements was unguarded and happened to be next to some of my men who are hanging around, so we'll take that, well we have taken that, and we'll destroy it. So there we go, we've made an example to the Shisha, and as it happens, they are willing to be my vassal after that. Going to slightly improve the deal here to make it better for me. But yes, vassalizing them saves me a lot of trouble having to go kill all those guys. It will be just like the Jin all over again. It does though mean that we don't complete the mission we got. The kind of story mission that appeared there was to destroy the Shisha. But by vassalizing them I guess it doesn't count because the mission is still there. Clicking go to on the mission sends us into the void, so I'm not sure what's going on with that one. But anyway, we're not going to bother with the mission is the long story short there, because it would be too annoying to kill them, and we're really winding this campaign down now. So we'll just let the Shisha sit there and have 1 city killed per betrayal as our rule or something. This is the nice Genghis timeline, and carry on. And most importantly, go back to our Khwarezm war, where we are now starting to attack Otrar. I think, even though I brought the level 2 catapults, this might be the level 3 wall, because I'm not sure the catapults we brought are actually able to make breaches. That means it's going to be one of these long and difficult sieges, where we try and break open the gates and gradually kill the enemies inside by sending units in for a grind. Nasty, but not much else we can do. The catapults will gradually take out the towers, which makes standing outside the walls much safer. The towers do constantly kill your men if you're anywhere near the settlement, so perhaps our catapults will be useful for that, even if they're not actually making this attack go any faster. A good bit of diplomacy news here. the Karakitans agreed to be my vassal. I gave them Alma-Ata because I was trying to offload settlements. We're over the settlement cap at the moment. So that gets us a bit closer, and it means we now have a vassal. They also have lots of random settlements around the place, so that's nice. Now they're on our side, they won't be in our way or anything like that. I think this is about the point in the campaign where I discovered that the rest of the Jin were indeed in my line of sight, just over to the east, and I spammed out a whole load of new armies to go and attack them. The siege of Otrar continues, just spamming our way in, and at the same time there was this big battle between the Jin and the Song. At first I was very confused by this, but the map is upside down, that's what's going on here. I was like, right, they're not to our west, they are to our east. And you can see there my stacks coming from Yanjing, loads of high value troops coming down to go take out these cities. I guess the Song are starting for us already, but we've got a glitch that I also saw in my previous campaign, where sometimes troops are just invisible. So here it looks like the Jin are just fighting the invisible men and are taking casualties. The Song apparently have a massive numerical advantage in this fight, although nothing came of it. When I got there, the Jin army was still there at pretty much full strength, so I don't know what they ended up doing. Maybe the Song was spamming trash or something. We'll just have to show them how it's done. You don't spam trash. You spam the late game golden units and all the heavy cav and stuff like that, as we're doing right here thanks to Yanjing's good buildings. So we'll just rush in. I still wasn't satisfied though, and Yanjing has more recruitment potential, so we can spam out a load of trash of our own to just follow up behind and provide more numbers. You can see you can recruit absolutely tons of stuff from these big cities, and in a couple of turns I'll be able to recruit the good troops as well, so we really can just keep piling them out, and no trouble for money at this point in the campaign. We're just infinitely rich for all intents and purposes. Otrar finally goes down after tons of grinding in the gates between our units, so that's all good. Khwarezm want peace, but they won't be my vassal, so we're going to say no to that, of course. Certain factions always refuse to be your vassal. That was what I found the last time I played this game, and perhaps Khwarezm are one of them as a story objective. Anyway, there are lots of fights like this also going on because Khwarezm have lots of armies just standing around in the area that keep appearing, and I wanted to show you this one in particular because look at the numbers at the top. The enemy had double our numbers and was shooting arrows across the river at us, but the arrows that they shoot just don't do anything. We don't lose any men when they shoot us, but when we shoot back with our horse archers, the enemy get annihilated. So this is the value of our heavy Tumen horse archers. Their armor just stops them dying. They just can't be killed, and we can kill the enemy, so that makes them nice and powerful, as you might imagine. Over at Donping, this spam is going hard. Both us and the Song going in for a siege attack there. Going to be a big grind because I don't have enough archers to actually open up the wall. And over near Tashkent, the fighting continues. This is the sort of thing I was referring to. The Khwarezm have loads of small armies that keep coming out of ambush positions and attacking us randomly, which is annoying because I wanted to stand here and just do nothing for a while to get our stamina back. Instead, I'm forced to win all these really easy battles over and over again, which is nice, but it doesn't actually advance the campaign in any way because the enemy will just re-recruit them again back in their settlements. Here we are a tiny bit later, where one of these spam attacks actually proved to be really cheeky. They've got all these one-unit armies walking around, and one of them went to attack Otrar while my garrison had just been ordered to go out and attack some other small army. So that means there's no one in the town, the gates were open because they haven't been repaired after the previous fighting, and the enemy with that little squad of archers take the entire city. That is so annoying and cheeky, especially because it's actually going to be hard for me to get back in. I sent all of my men down south to hang out near Tashkent instead, where, as you can see, they are also under a lot of pressure. Another full stack has just randomly appeared. We actually can't do this. Normal factions can set their troops to be in ambush mode so they're invisible to other players, but I don't think we can do this as far as I can tell. I couldn't find it anyway. Not that I'd ever really bother doing that, but in theory we could use it for something. And yes, we are just trashing these Khwarezm armies, but it's keeping our stamina low and makes it hard to go on. Eventually I just had to commit and start moving because more stacks were just appearing. There's another random stack on the other side of the river that's just there in the next turn. Here, you might notice I attacked that stack of 400 or so troops with 100 of my own. My guys are on 0 stamina, but we only lost like 5 guys to take down the entire enemy army. Heavy horse archers are really, really good, and we can spam them. The only reason I don't have more of them is because I can't be bothered. I'd have to scroll over to my settlements and click on the button to get more if I wanted, but I certainly could have way more. Look at my cash. the recruitment time cap is only like every 8 turns you can recruit a new stack, and it's been way more than 8 turns since these troops left that place I recruited them from. So yes, we can have much more troops, but I can't be bothered. Anyway, this is going to be about the end of this part. I think I will do one more part, because I want to finish off the Khwarezm and the Jin, which I haven't been able to do yet in the game. This is about as far as I've played. And if I do one more part, this series will be the same length as my other Oriental Empire series, which is very nice, very yin and yang or something. So I'll try and basically finish up everything, finish at least the Khwarezm story objective. We're going to ignore the Shisha one and just see if anything happens. Also, Genghis Khan has evolved into old Genghis Khan at this point in the campaign, so he can die of old age, I presume, and maybe something happens then and there's a formal story ending. That's what I'm looking for / hoping for. So we'll carry on. Oh, and by the way, I annihilated those 2 Jin Chinese settlements that we were spamming earlier with our elite units, and we'll send those guys to go look for more, basically. So join me for the final part next time, where we'll try to finish everything up and see how Genghis' story comes to an end, and whether anyone else is allowed to survive.